Hey man, you got any of those what do you call them, employees? Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement I'm going to be talking to you today about just kind of in general, what's the economic situation out there. So this comes from I had somebody come by the house the other day to after I got my little installation put up on the walls and stuff like that. I had someone come by and do some kind of energy assessment thing. So it turns out that the house is a little bit more efficient. Should be a little warmer, maybe a little cheaper this winter. I don't know. But anyways, this guy was telling me that he was having the worst time trying to find employees, and I had heard that from many other people, and just in general here and there. Oh, yeah, you can't find anyone to come to work. Oh yeah, they say they're going to show up, they don't show up. There's like I put an ad in here in Windsor where I am. There's Indeed jobs. I don't know if that's like nationwide or what, but it's in Canada anyhow. And it's one of these things that if you're looking for jobs, or you go check there and see who's advertised on there. There you go. Maybe contact them, send them a resume. But it's like usually I've found that when people actually go, and I've been in that situation myself when I was looking for instructors where I used to work, and like you try every little avenue that you can to say, hey, do you know anyone that wants a job? Do you know anyone that wants a job? Do you know anyone that wants a job? And when you're absolutely out of resources, okay, then you go and you put an advertisement somewhere. Now, at bigger companies, I'm sure there's like policies. Okay, we have to advertise the job, but other places, it's just like, no, man, we really, we just don't know anyone. Okay, let's go and put it out into the public. And that's what this guy, he was really hard up for workers, and he's like, yeah, I put an ad out there, and I'm like, oh, so did you get any resumes or anyone call you back? He's like, nope, nothing. And that's kind of what I did when I was looking for instructors, and this was a few years ago before things started getting really bad for finding workers. And like, hey, all of Canada, come to Windsor, and we will hire you as an instructor. And I got, what was it, five? I think out of all of Canada, anyone looking for a job, I think it was like four or five resumes, and only one guy actually had the qualifications for the job. Like, so it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be. We're looking for doctors here at the hospital, and you have to be a medical doctor. And so, me as a pilot, I apply for the doctor job. It's just like that's what people are doing, Like, so I had one guy. I called him up. I left a message with him. I called, actually, no, what it was is I called one of his references first. And then right after I got off the phone with him, with one of the references, the guy from the references hired the guy that was giving the reference. Anyways, he stole my employee that was basically, I don't know, that I was going to call up. And yeah, it was funny. It was like, apparently, because I knew somebody that was there at the time, and like, yeah, this guy, he said one of our students was up at another airport, and it was like, yeah, they said some guy from Windsor called here. Was that you? Yeah. It's like right after he called, right after the guy hung up the phone, another guy called up and he hired him. So it's like, anyways, that was some funny story. Hard to find employers. So anyway, shout out to Corey, hi, and Jim, and good old Nefarious Johnson, and who else was in here sneaking around? I missed someone else to say hello to, I think. Oh no, that's about it. Okay, everybody's we have a quorum. We're all good. Anyways, so how do we solve this problem of like there's just like no workers out there, and that it's in every, I would say every single sector of the economy, there's just not enough workers. And I don't know where. I'll tell you, like I've heard it from guy that owns a wedding chapel. Okay, this other guy that does this other type of thing. Every contractor that was around here locally, flying clubs and flying businesses, they're always looking for this one person that meets this qualification. Found out travel agencies, they're looking for people. Um, uh, was it, like ambulances, EMT, emergency medical transport people, or technicians, or whatever they're called. Uh, Teachers, nurses, doctors, like you name it. And so it's on every single, bartenders, wait staff, cooks, everything there. So anyway, so why is this happening? So here we go. I'll do some five things here. I like to do the five. So why can't employers find workers? Who cares? I don't care. I'm not working. Well, I don't know. I work very, very part time. But, well, I guess we probably should care about this. So let's get that off of there. I got my eraser on my cheapo dollar store marker. It's pretty slick. Well, that works. Sounds good, too. Okay, so number one, of course, let's blame everything on those good old, it's coming. The baby boomers. Wah, wah. They just started. They all stopped working. How does that happen? You turn 65, you get freebie money from the government, you stop working. What's that all about? So I would say, and of course this is all my opinion based on what I've seen, heard, stuck in my brain, made up out of ether, and all that stuff. So whatever. Yeah. So I mean, and it's been coming for years. Nobody prepared for it. So there we go. We deserve it. That's for every trade, everywhere, so baby boomers there. And a lot of people will be saying there too. All right. Everyone will be saying no one has kids anymore, so these kids can't get the jobs and stuff. Well, I don't know. There's still some kids that are playing video games and smoking weed in their mom's basement. Whose fault is that? I don't know. Demographically, there's less kids than there used to be. But it's kind of like, I don't know. There's like Canada, anyways. We got record immigration going on. There's tons of kids coming in here. I don't know. Seems weird. But okay, now this is where we're going to kind of tie into. It's not really so much, I think, that we have less kids that are going to be going into, teenagers, people in their early 20s. It's kind of like the jobs that are necessary. People don't really have the skills for them. And so, like the guy I was talking to this week, the type of job that he was doing, whoever he's hiring, they got to have a little bit of computer knowledge. Maybe you have to have a car. Maybe you have to have a cell phone. So there's all these little, I don't know, sort of soft skills. Although now, if you're doing just about any job out there, you should be pretty fluent with a computer of some description, not just me text on phone emoji, haha, poop emoji. Can I have the job? That doesn't quite cut it. So we got here, we'll say less skilled youngsters. So we'll say. So, I mean, I think there's kind of a bit of a divide that I've seen. Kids these days, these youngsters, we'll call them youngsters because I'm an oldster. Okay. We got less skilled youngsters these days. And so for example, like I was talking about it, some I have heard are barely computer literate, even though they've gone through 12 years of school in grade school and high school, and they've had to do things on computers. And for some reason, they get out, they still don't even know how to use computers. I don't know. Maybe they get their buddy to do the work for them, and they just hand it in, email the file off their phone or something. But and the thing is that this younger people that I've seen that were into aviation, they're great with computers. And there's engineering students out there. Like if you're really, there's kind of like a divide there. The people that are right into all the tech, those people are doing fantastic. Like I would say if somebody had a kid right now and they're, I don't know, kids like kindergarten or whatever starting off, you just get the kid to know absolutely everything about computers, and out the door they go. Start a computer job when they're like 14, doing websites or something like that. And by the time they're 20, they're making, 150 grand a year sitting on a laptop. So some people manage to do that, but you got to be, kind of prodded into that by the parents. And you got to have access, if you got to have access to a computer. But, computers are pretty cheap these days. Back, but then housing's expensive. What you gonna do? Okay, so we got that. So we got the people that are looking to get into some jobs. They might not have the skills, even though you'd think they would after going to school. What's that say about the education system? I don't know. Parents. Okay, what else we got here? This is another thing that I think is a big problem that nobody cares about. Drugs. All those junkies and meth heads that are walking around downtown everywhere, in every town, every city, every village in North America. There we go. That is a certain percentage of the population. And I was doing I did a little bit of research on that. And everyone I talked to about, like, just for example, a local bank branch around here had to shut down because there was too many junkies hanging out around the building and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to go in there because the junkies were sitting around sleeping in the lobby, and then they couldn't use the ATM and all this other stuff, and hanging around people's cars in the parking lot. And just, they had to shut down the bank branch because there's just too many bums around. So, I mean, they have their problems. They're addicted to substances and stuff. And some of them are just psychotic and just, you got schizophrenia, you go off the meds, you're in deep trouble, we'll say. Yeah. So, but if you look at most of the people that are all, spaced out on the street, it's all working age guys, usually white. We don't talk about skin pigmentation here on the superpilotish channel, but let's just say some demographics are overrepresented. Take from that what you want, but regardless, those the ages of them is I checked out the Canada website on that stuff, and it said 74% of the people that are on these heavy duty drugs, 74% are between the age of 20 and 59 and male. So it's basically a white male problem. And so anyways, why is that? I don't know, but there used to be there's all kinds of jobs out there for these guys, but they're all screwed up on drugs, and that's not cool. And then so we're also going to go down, and I don't know what that would be like, because imagine if you had your life together, and instead of living on the street, and you went and grabbed a job somewhere. Well, now that job's getting filled. It might be minimum wage because you're kind of messed up and you can't think, but oh well, I'm sure you could dig a ditch after you fried your brain. Anyways, okay, this other one here too is talking about how will I put this? Okay. So there's this little phenomenon that happens, and we saw that after the pandemic when they sent everybody home for months. There's I was, when I was in college, we took an economics course. I forget what the percentage of it is, where I read it. It was in a textbook. Somehow I passed. I don't remember what it was, but there's like this certain percentage of, if you have someone on, like, if they don't work, I think it was like unemployment insurance or welfare or whatever you want to call it, free government money where you don't have to work, which tons of people got. I got that a bunch. And yeah, you get off that, you get into a little routine. Your expenses go down because you're not spending money on you beating up your car going to work. Your expenses, you kind of adjust your lifestyle, and then, okay, time to get to work. You kind of don't want to, but you go, most people went back to work, but there's this, I forget what it was. It was a statistic that if someone's on welfare for a year, there's like a 50% chance that they'll never ever have a job again. I forget what the exact numbers are, but it was pretty staggering. So the people here, this is why can't they find any workers here? Because some of these people have never had a job, and they're never gonna get a job because it's just one of those things. You just get into the lifestyle, and I mean, I used to deliver prescriptions in some kind of poor neighborhoods here in Windsor, like years ago. There'd be generations of people that I've delivered prescriptions to, and the mom uh, doesn't have a job. The daughter next door to her doesn't have a job, and she's got a couple kids there too that are going to grow up. Well, my grandmother and my mom turned out fine, and I turned out fine. Might as well get pregnant at 17 and get on the gravy train, man. I had a great life. Like you might, I don't know, hope you had a great life. Doesn't sound like a great life to me. Worrying about money all the time, that's a drag. Oh, hey, Dan. Hey, Shecky. I see you guys popping in here. Yeah. So and the people that I was looking at some statistics for the people that have never had a job. What do we got here? In 1998, and this was in Canada, 5% of the population never had a job of working class or working age people. In 2000, it went up to 8% of the people have never had a job. So does that mean more people are going on welfare? And I've seen it before too, where mom and dad pay for everything and kids playing video games in the basement. Mom's buying him weed, getting all high, and Junior's getting high in the basement. She's all happy to give him pizza pockets when he's got the munchies because of that weed. Anyways, yeah, and like I've seen it where some guys like they have never had a job until they're like 20. One guy was 23. I think I saw a resume come across my desk. This guy was like, "Yeah, I want to apply for this." He wasn't qualified, but he never had a job, and he was 23. So, yeah, like I'm pretty sure that was the record. But I mean, there's just like lots of people that they get their first job when they're, I don't know, 19 instead of 15 or 14, or delivered. People used to deliver newspapers when they were 12 or 13, or cut the neighbor's grass. Nobody cuts grass anymore. Like you'll never see anyone under the age of, I don't know, 30 cutting the grass. Well, maybe 30. Probably no one under the age of 25 cutting the grass. It's weird. Okay, so anyways, so lots of jobs out there for that. So anyways, these are why the reason we got too many jobs is because the boomers, they just took off. Now, I do have solutions for all of these things, and nobody would want to hear it, and it's kind of negative, and I want people to have a good weekend, so I'm just going to shut up. But anyways, this is my reason here, boomers. Okay, we got too many jobs because they all took off. Surprise, surprise. We knew it was coming for 20 years and didn't do anything about it. People are having less kids. Well, I don't know. That's what they say. Or the kids that are there are not skilled enough to do the jobs that are out there because they're not taught how to do it. The parents don't care. And drugs, no one cares about the people that have a little bit of problem there with the drugs. And some people just never had a job. So there's a whole lot in here knowing no one cares. So if they don't care, I don't care. It's actually kind of a good thing if there's lots of jobs out there, because that means the wages will come up. So there we go. Now, if we can, like, I always thought it'd be so cool if we got a whole bunch of people coming into Canada, and supply and demand for the housing is making the housing go up here and on that. But I would think with technology, you should be able to just get like here's a house, you put it here, boom, you get a concrete truck, you pump it full of concrete, you take the form off, and there's your house. Like, why don't we do that? I don't know. But you could pump out tons of houses, increase the supply, and bring the cost down. But what do I know? Yeah. So, actually, I don't know, makes too much sense, I guess, or something. A lot of things when it makes too much sense, just no one does it. So as I get older, that's what I find out. Oh, hey, Greg. Greg McNeely's in here, wrench too. So there we go. Got too many jobs. Is it that bad? I mean, it's bad for employers. I do feel bad for the employers. Yeah, the good ones. The bad employers, I don't feel bad for them at all. They can go pound sand. But the good employers, it's like, yeah, I feel bad for those guys. So, yeah, we'll just kind of go through, yeah, see if there's any questions, comments, or anything like that. We got the weekend coming up here, and I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be in the undisclosed location this weekend. So I'll be, I might be doing some. I'm gonna bring my phone with me wherever I'm going, and try to do maybe like some kind of video YouTube upload thing, and then on Twitter you can do video uploads somehow. I'll have a little time on my hands, and I'll mess around with that little project. Try to get into the 21st century here. And okay, what else we got here? No big questions. Oh, here we go. Greg was asking, is that a Taylor or a Tacoma guitar in the background? Yeah, it just kind of ended up there after moving some stuff around here. That is an old BC Rich guitar, actually. Here, I'll show it to you. Just to prove I'm not lying. Oh, pretty dusty. I haven't played it that much. I usually play my yeah, I haven't played it too much. I usually play my electric ones over here, but can you see that? Little BC Rich. There we go. I don't know if it's in tune. Nope. All right. Yeah, I found that whenever I try to play any type of guitar on here, the YouTube picks it up and immediately recognizes that it's music and then cuts the volume and does weird stuff with it. So I don't try to do that anymore. Okay, and Jim's wondering, is it better to apply as underqualified than overqualified? Well, I don't think I've ever been really underqualified for any job I did, because I always said, I've gone in and said, hey, I can show up. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but I'll learn. And then I get the job and learn. So if you're underqualified, well, and you're applying for a job you kind of know, I would say from an employer standpoint, I'd say you're kind of lying. You're kind of lying to get in there. Then if you're overqualified, I've definitely been overqualified for jobs, and you can fake it for a while, but eventually they figure out that you got a head on your shoulders, and then things go bad. So anyways, what else we got here? Yeah, there we go. Here we go. So Jim's saying, are those useless degreed individuals? See Aaron Clary. Yes, I'm a big fan of Aaron Clary. He and I, well, it's one of the reasons I like Aaron, my buddy Aaron, even though I've never talked to him or met him or nothing like that, but he's he's about the same age as me. And then, so everything he says, I'm like, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, useless degrees. People should not be getting useless degrees. I agree with Aaron Clary 100% on that. Like, it's just, you don't need it these days. I could see in the old days having a useless, like, it wasn't quite as useless, because you could go get a job degree in, I don't know, history or something like that. Well, you can watch all about English history on a YouTube channel, and it's like 10 episodes, everything you need to know. But back in the 80s or something like that, where there was no internet, you had to get a book. And I think it also kind of prepared you for, if you're going into the workplace, your writing skills would get a little bit better, because you had to write papers. You had to take notes. There was none of this stuff. And your spelling had to be good, because you didn't want to, correct your spelling with liquid paper or anything like that. And it kind of gave you a little bit of discipline back then to, like, okay, I got to learn this stuff. How do I stick it into my head? But now you can kind of, nowadays you don't need that history degree. at all, pretty much. But okay, all right. Yeah, ditches need digging too. That's right. You screw up your life, and I will be. Yeah, I don't know. Just eventually, well, you know what? The ditch digging nowadays is all done by like heavy equipment, and it's not a bad job being a ditch digger. But mm, 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 mm. Okay, so I'm just kind of going through here. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah. Well, it is a question. Are we allowed to talk about women's butts yet? So does that come under I got my rules here. Okay, no politics, no religion, no skin pigmentation, and no genitalia. So I think women's butts comes under genitalia. So we're not talking about women's butts here. But when it comes to butts, I cannot lie. So, anyways, what else we got here? Oh, it's nice to see everybody popping in, saying hi to each other and stuff like that. Okay. Okay. Wrench is wondering when you're hiring, do you have pity on the ones that never had a job? Well, any of the ones that usually there's some sort of a job on any type of pilot resume. Ideally, it would be even if it's not like if it's like gassing up planes or marshaling planes or something. That's like number one. But basically, the way it is now, if you're going to be getting any type of like flying job, it's if you got a license and a warm body, you're hired. It doesn't matter. So, and I have hired, I hired a guy a younger guy that was he did have one job before, but it wasn't like a real job. Like he worked for his dad, uh doing what were they doing? It was like on an industrial sewing machine, and they made like kind of tarps and stuff like that, custom made tarps and canvas stuff. So it's funny, this guy's like 19, he's never had a job, and now he's going to teach people how to fly. So there was a few things there. Like for the ones that haven't had too many jobs, there's a few like little things that you got to tell them. Like was one guy, he only had like a construction jobs before, so he came in and he was going to be a flight instructor. And then he's like, he's working on a construction crew, right? And I overhear him when he's one of his new students. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go take a piss and go outside and have a smoke. You can walk around the airplane." I'm like, there's a girl at the desk, and she's like, "Oh." I'm like, I had to politely tell him, this isn't a construction site, man. You can't be talking about I'm going to go take a piss and have a smoke, like. And he was like, "Oh, what? You can't? Okay." And then he stopped doing it. He was he was a pretty good instructor after that. But there's like these little skills you got to learn when you're getting into the semi white collar kind of service industry. And then what was the other one? Yeah, so the kid that was only I call him a kid. He was 19 when he was working for me. Yeah, he didn't really know a whole lot about computers that much and stuff, so I had to kind of show him how to fill out things on tracker hours on a spreadsheet. And this other one, and it's funny. He's working for, let's see, last time he's a flying jet somewhere, and yeah, so that was a funny one. So I was in my office, and there was an open door just kind of across the hall, and he was over there, and he kind of yelled across the. I always kept my door open for my office, and he yelled over, and he's like, "Hey, Graham, how do I make a? What do you say? Was it a resume?" Oh yeah, that's right. He's like, "How do I make a resume?" Because I hired him. I never even he never made a resume before, and he was like 19, and so I said, "Okay, and why do you need a resume?" Because he was gonna apply. It's funny to ask your boss how to make a resume to go work at another place, but that's aviation. Everyone knows that you're going to be moving on. And I gave him the advice like that I tell everybody and everyone ignores. It's like, okay, go to Google, type in pilot resume example, and click on the first thing that pops up. He's like, okay, thanks. Types in, oh yeah, that'll work. And then he just like copied what was there, and then he sent a resume because he was saying, yeah, they told me I should get on this LinkedIn thing, and if I want to get another job. So he's like, he got a LinkedIn page. He immediately got contacted by a headhunter that told him to send a resume. He made up his very first resume, sent it off to him, and then got hired a week later. Like, it's just like that. That's how fast the industry's moving there. If you have a little bit of hours under your belt. And last I heard, he was doing all right. Okay, what else we got here? Shecky's talking about he split his head open in a darkroom when he had a job at the big photo lab. Yeah, there was those that's the job that's really not around too much. Way back in the day, there used to be all kinds of chemicals and stuff and in the dark rooms. And yeah, another thing I learned about that dark rooms and that at Kodak, back when they developed film and made films and stuff like that. What was it, Rochester, New York, where the main Kodak film factory was? Apparently they hired like tons of blind people there because all their work and everything was done in like a dark room. So they just hired all these blind people, and like there was like no lights on anywhere in the Kodak plant apparently. But I mean, who's better suited to work in a dark room than a blind person? So that was kind of cool. I have a photography retired photography friend that told me that one. So all right, Wrench the engineer says concrete makes a terrible house. Native American reservations. I don't know, do they have concrete? Never. I think I drove through a reservation there once. It was mostly trailers, the one I went through in the States. Okay, I might miss a little bit here. Oh, Shecky's got a Warlock bass, BC Rich. Oh yeah, that Warlock is cool, man. That was like the cool heavy metal guitar back in the 80s. And those Warlocks are actually worth a bit of cash these days if you got a Warlock. It's all kind of pointy and evil looking, rock and roll. So what else we got here? Okay. Well, okay. I'm scrolling really fast here now. This is interesting. 66 T-Bird Cruise Control says retard. Retard. That's the R word. Just like when you retard timing on the timing belt. And then when the Airbuses, when you come in to land, they say to retard the throttle. Retard. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing about the R word, it's just means a little bit slower. People got to... Up until that, the official word for people that were a little bit slower or had developmentally challenged was mentally retarded was the actual psychological term up until the latest DSM, I think it was. So, like, technically somebody could be mentally retarded up until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago they changed that. So, there we go. Yeah, so there we go. Okay. Oh, and thank you very much, Dan. Great procession with StreamYard. Congratulations. Well, I will take your congratulations. Thanks a lot, man. Okay, gonna... I see your comment there, Al. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is Al saying here. Getting upset about words is both gay and retarded. By that, he means happy and pulled back. So, yeah, I could say something like that. Okay, we're all done. Yeah, so today is Friday, and I'll be in an undisclosed location this weekend. So I might throw something up on Twitter, might throw an extra little video here as an experiment. I won't be doing any live chats or anything like bonus live chats on the weekend, but you might see a little video pop up here and there. And I'll be back on Monday, though, because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And time to start the weekend. Thank you for watching. Bye.